A little bit more about how here at home are responding to the strike. We turn to conservative talk show host from Louisville, Kentucky, Leland Conway. Good to see you as always, my friend. We'll put this tweet up. We got this from Rosie McGowan yesterday. Rose McGowan, "Dear Iran, the USA has disrespected your country, your flag, your people. 52% of us humbly apologize. We want peace with your nation. We are being held hostage by a terrorist regime. We do not know how to escape. Please do not kill us. Hashtag Soleimani." She has since walked that back, as one might imagine,
yes.
With this reported by the Daily Mail. Quote, "I had a flashback to being at the United Nations cafeteria with my friend who was a lawyer there for the UN, and it was the same day that Colin Powell was delivering his fake WMD testimony at the UN." This is what she told the AP. How those two are related or explains the tweet, I don't know. Can you figure it out?
No. I mean, seriously, I turn to Hollywood for all of my political commentary these days. What do they actually know about what average Americans are facing? Or better yet, I come from a state that has 302,000 veterans out of 4 million people. So almost 10% of Kentuckians have actually been in the military and are the ones that have actually served in the Iraq and Afghanistan war and have faced this situation. So I always love it when celebrities like to weigh in on things like politics, because clearly she has a good grasp of how America reacts. I know I was certainly rushing to try to write apologies to Iran for everything we've done to them over the years. It's ridiculous.
You bring up an interesting point in terms of Kentucky. Fort Campbell, Kentucky is there among a lot of other
Fort Knox.
U.S. Military installations. Your listeners, as they were calling in, reasonable people can disagree on foreign policy. This is in foreign policy decisions. Was there a lot of disagreement you were getting on the air yesterday?
You know, I think when you listen to Senator Rand Paul and Congressman Thomas Massie from Kentucky speak, they represent a pretty wide portion of the people in the state and also in my listener base. There's actually a recognition that President Trump just responded to Iran crossing a red line. There's a recognition of that, and there's a sense of relief that we have a president now who's actually going to do what he says he's going to do. But there's also trepidation, and that is that because we do have so many veterans in our state, so many people in our state who have sacrificed, so many who have actually given the ultimate sacrifice, there's a question about what's the plan going forward. And you hear Senator Rand Paul talking about that and Congressman Massie.
Right.
And he brought up to me yesterday on my show, Congressman Massie did, our embassy in Iraq is $1 billion. Does that look like the kind of embassy that isn't going to be there very long in terms of just the size and scope and scale?
Rand Paul saying essentially, he said diplomacy's dead because of this strike. So it's important. Now we look forward to 2020, and whoever is going to be a Democratic nominee taking on President Trump will probably be talking about just this issue in terms of foreign policy and whether or not President Trump kept his promises or not. Here was our Peter Doocy questioning Joe Biden yesterday on the trail about whether he would have given the same order. Take a listen.
As Commander-in-Chief, if you were ever handed a piece of intelligence that said you can stop an imminent attack on Americans, but you have to use an airstrike to take out a terror leader, would you pull the trigger?
Well, we did. The guy's name was Osama bin Laden.
And didn't you tell President Obama not to go after bin Laden?
I didn't.
And now we will run the tape from 2012 that Peter was basing that question off of. Take a listen.
Mr. President, my suggestion is don't go. We have to do 2 more things to see if he's there.
And that was Biden talking about the decision process into the bin Laden raid. Does these moves by President Trump in sending 3,000 plus U.S. troops now to the region open them up to attacks from Biden or from anybody else, saying, you said you were going to get us out of endless wars, and you just made a major move in the Middle East of potentially starting one with Iran?
I think what's interesting is looking at what the Democrats have done in response to this. And Biden may be in a little bit different situation, having been vice president of the United States when President Obama made particular types of strikes. But when I hear the Democrats jumping up and down and saying, you know, we want proof, or we want authority and all of this, the Democrats, in a sense, have been a big part. Congress itself, both Republicans and Democrats, have given the president the authority to do stuff that they now can stand back and sort of cheer from the gallery, or they can jeer from the gallery. They're kind of like those old men on the Muppets. What was it, Statler and Waldorf, who sat up there? There's no danger to them, you know what I mean? So it's interesting to see that back and forth with the Democrats now throwing pot shots at the president when he's essentially just backing up what he said. They crossed the red line, and he's following up on it.
Count on Leland Conway to go from strikes on Iran to the Muppets in only 4 minutes. It's good to see you, my friend. Thank you for spending the time with us.
Awesome. Thanks for your time.
Good to see you.